noise or no? Let's
I
keep
don't
it
know
in
if
the
I can.
green
I
room.
don't.
Yeah, you act dumb. Now.
All right, yeah. We've had a few hooligans in the chat for a long time today. Hello, James. I sent
Hey,
James a
James.
message today. I sent James a message yesterday, which was actually a long time coming. Just thanking him for the person he is in the community, because I mean he's everywhere. He's the first person in everybody's chat for whatever. So thank you, James, for everything that you do, bro. I appreciate you, and I
Indeed.
hope you win everything you entered that I didn't enter. So this guy. Hey,
Oh, that's a
be
really
on the
cute
lookout.
T-shirt.
Yeah, be on the lookout for those curated boxes. Those are bangers. This guy. A little
Oh, hi,
confused on
Mark.
his. Hello, Mark. A little confused on his new geography since he's moved, but hello.
Chip.
All hell, nothing now more to be said. Oh, I just realized he had the Space Ghost avatar. Nice.
Oh, that's right.
Space Ghost.
That
And,
great design by Alex Toth.
well, yeah, Alice Ross too. Nice. Let me tell you,
Mary.
the steals and deals this lady got Sunday morning on the community garage sale. Did you see what happened with her?
I saw a little bit, but Sundays are pretty hard here at the house.
That's what he said. She took home the Austin LeMay original art
Oh,
from
nice.
Delta Dogs, Blasting and Action for a steal.
Way to
And I
go,
believe she
Mary.
got the CGC graded copy as well. So really a good deal. Really good deal.
Nice.
Space go, and it ties in. Jean Malo, thank you very much, not only for your
Indeed.
presence, but for the segue into what we're going to be discussing today.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, Nick. No intro today?
Hmm?
No intro today?
We're going to get to it. Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I just
All
wanted
right.
to know because.
Hey, because Ignacio wanted it. Not the
Oh, come
outro.
on.
Not the outro like I usually play first, but the intro.
How you doing? Happened with these, and I do not know what the grade is yet. So we are going to find out together. Most likely a 9.8, but man, fingers crossed that it hits one of those higher numbers as well. So let's see. You get to see before I do. Let's see. Oh yes. Oh my God, yes. You about to get plugged?
I'm just very thankful we got the chip before he escalated into
Yeah, before he blew up. You know what I like about that intro, Marcus, is that you fucking recycle clips. I'm gonna use it every time.
Yeah, and you know what,
Hey,
Ignacio's
Joe.
he's been on this kick the whole week, and I don't know what it's. I forget what it's about. I don't know what it's about, but
It's about time traveling. Last Friday on the Friday show with DJ, someone said, "What would you tell yourself if you time travel?" And fucking recycle. And I couldn't stop laughing, so I keep using it because I loved it.
okay, there you go. I forgot. I mean, sometimes I don't even pay attention to what goes on in that show because
And they treat you bad, man.
they're making so much fun of me. I'm just preparing myself how to respond to the punishment that comes my way. But the punishment is going to come to the chat's way because this Friday on In the Mix, nothing but giveaways, and I have to decide when
Yeah.
I'm coming away.
There's gonna be a fire show this Friday.
Anybody need one of these?
Fucking recycle, people.
There you go. There you go.
See, it's a great message from the future.
You just gotta check around, make sure my future self is not in the house. So
Oh, beware. Maybe he's filling some holes that you are not currently filling.
yeah, it would be nice.
Why you look down?
Because that's where most of my hole. Well, 1, 2, 3.
But would you fill your own holes if you time traveled? Well, yeah, maybe.
What better partner?
Yeah, that's right.
That partner knows exactly what you need when you need it. Don't laugh, Ignacio. That's the truth.
So, speaking of weird shit and mysterious things,
You want to get right to it, huh?
I want to get this out of the way. Now I'm gonna plug this, and then we go with the show. But this is a good segue because I'm working on this September. Comes out a third volume for the Weird Crap in Australia book. It's Hey Flo. It's a podcast, the Weird Crap in Australia podcast. I've been working with them doing their merch and their book covers for, I don't know, 5 years now. Volume 3 comes out September 1st, I think.
Yep. Pre-orders are up now on Amazon, I believe.
There you go. There are thick books. As you can see, like hundreds and hundreds of pages, transcriptions, and more notes on the podcast episodes. And this is a job I love, and my younger self would be proud that I have this gig, because I've been a fan of the dark, the mysterious, the paranormal since I was a kid. Most of all as a narrative device, as a genre. But today, I would like to approach it from the personal experience angle. Because as much as I wanted to consider myself a skeptic while I was growing up, well, from 15 to some events, some things happen that sometimes you're kind of forced to believe in something, or at least consider that you might be wrong. When I was a kid, I was a very religious person. I believed in the concept of a deity, the Holy Trinity, the rebirth, and that. And then I stepped aside from religion, and I became quite skeptical about all the woo, as Joe would.
Okay, so before you go on, was there something that happened to make you step away, or is that just a natural stepping aside?
I think I became more critical of my surroundings. I don't know. My father was, before he got married with my mom, before he entered the corporate world and such, he came from a very religious Italian family, and he was the second son. And traditionally, the second son would go into the clergy in that family. So my dad was studying to become a priest, and by the third year of the seminar, he realized he wasn't cut to be a priest. But he was very religious, and he raised us very religious. But by 15, I grew maybe a little bit too critical to believe in the institutionalization of faith, if that's even the way to put it. So I became a contrarian, basically. I don't believe in anything. God doesn't exist, blah, 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 blah. Thank you, Chip. I don't think I have powers, but my wife has, so I might tell her. So by 15, I was out of it. But then I had so many paranormal or unexplainable is the word, experiences that, I don't know, it's hard not to believe there's something else that we cannot perceive, but for just brief moments and glimpses.
Mm. All right.
Have you ever had some paranormal experience?
Now, when you say paranormal, I immediately think aliens. Does that include? I guess we touch on religion already. Does that include religious stuff also?
Go all the whole spectrum. The X-Files.
All right. So the thing is too is like I was raised Roman Catholic, also baptized, confirmed, all of my sacraments, did all that, and I just naturally grew away as my mid-teenage years hit. I moved on, and religion was not even a thing for a long time. I wouldn't call myself an atheist. I wouldn't say I'm an agnostic either, because I look around me and it's hard to believe that it's all science. You know what I mean? Science can explain everything. You know what I mean? So while I've never had the flying saucer or the probing, the religious aspect of it for me was the weird thing. I don't
Was it?
count it. I don't not believe that the government is hiding stuff from us. I do believe that in the millions of galaxies and the millions of planets that are out there, there is life out there. I believe that. I would like proof, real proof, but I also don't want, Mars attacks guys to come down with ray guns and start, chewing us all up. So
Yeah, I was going to tell you, maybe be careful what you wish for, because
yeah, I know.
maybe proof is not what you expect.
Yeah, and this came up, I think, too, recently on.
That's what triggered this
Yeah.
this whole episode. The chat you had with the guys on Friday, because I was I don't know what I was doing, but I felt compelled to comment that I have had some experiences about regarding the UFOs. You were talking UFOs and time traveling and fucking recycle. But besides UFOs that I had,
Wait, we were also discussing, most importantly, #WildlingBox. Yeah.
Yes.
That thing you done with your tongue, Jon Snow.
Yeah, how dare she tell him he knows nothing after he's done that for the first time?
And having watched it, I think that she said he does know something, or he said he knows.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Such a tragic story. Not the box munching, the whole story of that relationship. So the alien, not alien. I haven't seen an alien, or I haven't been abducted. But I have seen a UFO while when I was 18, and we were on Arequipa in Peru.
I can just go for some, what do they call it? Chiche Morada?
Chicha Morada, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I just turned 18. I turned 18 in the airplane. So I started drinking there, right then and there. What do you want? Bring me a whiskey, please.
I'm 18 now.
Yeah. And you know what? When you're 18 in those cultures, you get to sit on the grown-ups table, and you get to drink what they drink. So I was the only one of the minors, the kids, that was 18. So I get to dine with the adults and drink with the adults, and they drink heavy in that at least in that family, a big family uh, like 14 sons, 14 brothers and sisters of different ages, and their kids, they all live real close. So, well, one night, one of my friend at the same age by 3 months younger, one of his cousins and I were on the terrace smoking a cigarette. He was feeling sad because some girl that had dumped him, and suddenly we were in it's a very there are a lot of mountains around, and we were not in a very buzzing city. It's a town basically.
Right.
Even though it's the second biggest city in Peru, we were in a part that was very quiet, and there was not a lot of city lights, and we were in the terrace chain smoking, like stupid kids, and suddenly, like, there was a yellow orb, like, suspended above the city, far away. But it was clearly above the city. I mean, it wasn't beyond the mountains. It was above the city. And we were like, what is that? We basically stayed there, and it was there for like an hour and a half. And by the time it went away, basically the whole family was there with us in the terrace, because someone came looking for us and went back to tell everyone, hey, there's a UFO above the city. And it was gently floating. And then in a moment's notice, it went away.
Yeah, it must have been some good wine.
But the thing is, in the context, for that family, they believe in aliens. They believe in astral projection. They believe in the paranormal. So for them, it was like, okay, UFO. Let's see if something happens.
Yeah, and I guess in Peru too, with all of the extracurricular history that they've got going on, kind of lends to that.
Yeah, it's a very impressive place.
I've never been. My best friend in the universe, his wife is Peruvian, and his my godson spends most summers there. So
yeah, it's the circuit of the ruins. It's impressive. What those people did in the mountains by sheer force of will and moving rocks. Because I still don't believe the aliens did it. I think humanity did that.
Speaking of mountains and sheer forces of will, hi, Jimmy.
So there you go. Jimmy the Don.
So Pocan Joe, I think he looks to dispel the woo-woo because he's a man of science.
No, well, I'm glad he does, because we need different voices approaching. No, it wasn't humid. I think that's a crazy thing. And one of the most dry weathers I have experienced was there. It was winter, and I'm used to the winter here in Mar del Plata, because we have the sea, we have a humid winter, and it's a different kind of cold. And I wasn't used to that dry cold of Peruvian winters.
I mean, how could you not say that?
Late Titicaca.
Yeah, and keep a straight face.
Well, you get used to it. Gladly is not pee caca. That would be worst.
It would. Really would. And I mean, I've seen pictures. There have been pictures shared in various group chats of weird They're not called UFOs anymore. What are they called?
Nah, I don't care. Might call them UFOs.
Shit you can't explain.
Yeah,
Um,
that's it.
Yeah, and aggressively relaxing. Mentioned something before that a lot of these accounts are given by people who have been straight laced, thoroughly clean and pristine backgrounds.
Yeah, I mean, up to that point, I haven't ever smoked weed, for example.
Does it really?
What? No.
And there it is. UAPs, which are stand for. See, everybody's just all in sync. I love it. Unidentified.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for being our Wikipedia.
Yeah, I've personally never seen it. Again, I don't discount the fact that government's hiding something, or there's a spaceship in such a location, or I don't put it past anybody to lie about stuff like that.
No, especially the government.
Yeah.
I think the first person, or the first thing that's going to lie to you is the government. And then, well, of course, you have hallucination, massive hysteria, and all that jazz. But up until that point, I was skeptical. But that, well, I mean, it could be any number of things. It doesn't have to be aliens. It may be a weather balloon, like Men in Black always says. But the following stories that I'm going to tell you, you're gonna have to bear me, because this is the first time I'm going to maybe tell them in English, so it might take me some time. Those made me believe that there's something else here with us that we don't see.
On another plane, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Operating
really
in different frequencies. Yeah.
Maybe it's not even around us. Maybe it's inside our heads, some collective unconscious, something, a neural wave that connects us all. Like, when you yawn and someone besides you yawns and you, no, don't start, motherfucker. This is my point.
It's a sympathetic response. What are you gonna do?
Well, maybe there's something to it. We all yawn. Maybe there's something else that we don't even perceive because it's inside our brains that we connect with. I don't know. Let me jump right into it. From 10 years old to 15 years old, I was a Boy Scout. I was a Cub Scout. Then I went to, hey, Elston. Oh, yeah, of course. Brace yourself.
This is where it all
shit
comes out. All right, hold on. At 23 minutes and 30 seconds, go.
So, from 10 to 15, I was a Boy Scout, and I had a great time. And I went from the Cub Scout to the proper Scout. When you're an adult, basically, you're a grown-up. And right away, I got turned into a leader of a segment of a patrol, basically. And I was hesitant because I was really new. I was 13 years old. I didn't have experience. I didn't have my paraphernalia. I was really fresh from the Cub Scouts to the Scouts. And so this guy, Juan Pablo, took me under his wing and taught me how to lead, how to manage things, how to relax even in the, dude, this is not such a big deal. We were camping in Bariloche, that it's a really nice mountain town in the south of Argentina. That's where I became a leader, and then he basically, with another leader, they took me under their wing. I leave the Scouts, and one day I was, I don't know, 18, 19, and I left my house, and I was walking towards the house of these people, this family that took me to Peru when I turned 18. They live like 6 blocks away. So I reached the corner, took a right, took a left, and the traffic is coming my way. And I did, every time I went there to their house, I did the same route. And when I enter the street where traffic is coming my way, I see Juan Pablo in his Honda C90 motorcycle, and he flew by me. I raised my hand to wave at him, but he didn't see me. But I clearly recognize him. He was not wearing a helmet. He was wearing his military jacket. He used to use the helmet like here. You know, he put his fist through the helmet and use it in the elbow, just in case he saw police ahead. He would put it on. And I knew the bike, you know, I knew the motorcycle. I fell in love with that motorcycle because he had it. And then when I was 20 something, I bought my own, the same mark and model. Well, anyway, I see him there. He flew by. Okay, Juan Pablo. I haven't seen him in a while because when I left the Scouts, he kept going. But we only saw each other in birthdays and such from the group of friends we had. Well, I walked the 4 blocks that were between me and the house of this family, and I ring the bell, and the mom opens. This is a person that I consider my aunt. She knows me since the day I was born, basically. She's a friend. She was a friend of my mom's from high school. So whole life besides together. So she's basically like my aunt or my second mom. I get there and she tells me, "Oh, I'm alone. Come in. Let's have something to drink." Okay. And she tells me, I arrived unannounced, you know, 1998, 99, no cell phones, no nothing. And I mean, I would basically go whenever I wanted to their house, or my friend would come to mine. And she basically tells me right away, "Are you here because of Juan Pablo?" And I tell her, "Yeah, I just saw him. Was he here?" Because she knew him, because they were in the Scouts, they were in the families of the Scouts. We were all Scouts. And she tells me, "No, there's going to be a mass for him. He died yesterday."
What?
Yes. I get goosebumps. Yeah. And then I was floored, you know, because I just saw him.
Wow.
And I tell her, "Dude, that cannot be real. I'm losing my mind." I basically, I think I became paranoid or nervous, or so nervous that she sat me down and she told me, "Okay, relax. You're not going crazy. You might be experiencing something that not everyone sees." Or she was a very woo-woo person, new age person. And so she basically told me, "No, you're not going crazy. You're just seeing dead people." You're seeing another plane of existence. So basically, she told me a couple of stories she knew about or she had experienced, basically to calm me down. And then I found out that what I saw was, maybe for me, was him, but then I learned that he didn't have that motorcycle anymore. So basically, it was my mind putting him there, but not as he was currently, but how I remembered him. You know? So I don't know. Yeah.
I'm just taking I'm taking a moment. First of all, the story itself just blows me away.
It's just a beginning, man.
But to think of why you would see him like that.
I learned with time that I was just a witness. There was nothing to do with me. I was just collateral damage, so to speak, because there was in the story that I'm going to tell you, there was nothing in it that justified that I saw him for years.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So
gonna sit there and process that for a second. Well, to Jason's point, I think for sure. I mean, because you think back to like the 14 and 1500 stuff, if you were able to create a fire out of something not normal, you'd be considered a witch or something. So for sure that people would try to explain it nowadays and be less apt to go that route, go the UAP route, but I don't think it explains everything.
no, especially with UFOs. I mean, I think given that we have more technology nowadays, it should be easier to prove they exist. But there's someone else who will tell you no, because they know we have that technology, so they don't come that near anymore.
See, Biggie sees stuff like that too. But you know what's weird, that society as a whole tends to bring the crazy people to the forefront instead of
Yeah, and it
of
ruins your life sometimes, man. Saying you have been abducted by an alien, it ruins your life. If you hear the accounts of every person that came out and said, I've been abducted and this is what happened, their life went to shit after that.
yeah, right. I don't know. Like, and to get back to your story too, it's weird, but I remember the day my father died. I remember taking the train to work to Manhattan that day. And at some point in the middle, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should go see my dad tomorrow. And I've never felt that way before. I just had a compelling feeling to go feel that way. And when I got to work, probably about an hour later, I found out he passed.
No.
So that's weird. I don't know. I think maybe that there's a connection there also. But it's stuff like that you can't just say it's science, There's got to be some connection.
I don't know. I mean, she told me, for example, that there was this, I don't know if she called it the law of attraction. She asked me, didn't you dream with him last night? And I don't recall my dreams. I don't remember my dreams at this point. No, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't remember. And she told me, maybe you called to him and then you saw him. Then he came to you. Well, uh, I spent some time there. My friend comes back. I told him, because in this family, it's okay to speak about these things because it's this family.
Yeah, grabbing your aunt was pretty okay. I mean, she had an explanation for what other
Yeah.
people would be like, hey, that's crazy. What do you?
Yeah, no, I mean, she studied with Tibetan monks, and she had a monk astral project into her house and talking to her. Oh, I mean, she was beyond my perception. That's why she could basically calm me down, because she told me all this crazy shit that was crazier than what I had experienced. So okay, and you're okay. So if she's okay, if she's not crazy, then I'm okay.
Yeah.
I can deal with this. And she also told me, if you want to close this part of you, you can. It's something that you can do, but if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. You can basically take the conscious decision to discard this ability you have. Apparently, I couldn't, because I kept seeing this guy at random places, in random moments, at random times. There was no pattern, because I became obsessed at some point.
See?
Yeah, we we experience these things, and sometimes we don't talk about them. But I like to, at least it makes for a compelling story. It was
Yeah,
puzzling to me,
and it's just
puzzling for
it's
years.
it's weird to me is like I always look at the person first, especially if I know somebody. I'm like, why would he lie?
That's right. Why would I lie?
Why? This person is not an attention seeker. You know what I mean? This person is not all about, like, you can see some of the accounts of the people who's telling the stories, and you're just like, no, that person just wants to be heard and recognized for something.
Yeah, I
Anything.
don't want to be recognized for this. I draw comics. I want to be recognized for that.
See? And let's take that as a segue. We'll get that. Take that. Iggy's wanting to be recognized, not only for the work he does, but for others as well. So let's get to Ignacio's sexy suggestion.
There you go. Brian K. Lindsay and Louis Joyce bring us a story of sibling rivalry and dragons.
I like the name.
Fun,
Fistful of Pain.
completely funded on day one, before the 24-hour mark, of course, if it's day one. How silly of me. There you have it. Ryan K. Lindsay is on fire. He's bringing some cool shit to the table. And this is not he keeps doing it in this project. I've seen a couple of pages of this, and it's really good. The art of Louis Joyce is so dynamic. Well, there you have it. He also did an animated trailer.
Kind of makes me want
It's a one shot, so you don't have to wait for issue number 2, and you can get different versions of the book. You can get hardcover, softcover, die cut, whatever. You go to the Kickstarter page and choose your own adventure, basically.
some dope covers, man. Definitely sucking me in one.
Are you there, Nick? Are you muted, or I lost audio?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I cannot hear you. But I guess you can hear me. It's one of those things that happen. Well, I'm going to jump off and jump back in.
No.
Okay?
Can you hear me now? I can hear you.
Why do you keep talking? I cannot hear you.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
Yeah, I can read your lips.
See, weird enough, there's been a lot of large Marge talk the past couple days. And that one thing where she makes the little transformation was kind of scary to me. Somebody scared me with that the other day, but spotty. Yeah, so we'll get back to some of Ignacio's stuff. Again, his Brian K. Lindsay Kickstarter, Fistful of Pain. And if you guys have not seen this other one, it's out yesterday. 20th Century Men. Out there now, fantastically done, beautiful art.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I was just talking about 20th Century Men, which came out yesterday.
Yeah, beautiful book.
Another
Not for everyone, as you have learned from Mr. Taylor Winder that the word is verbose for him. There's too many words on the book for him. He's not a fan. But the art is top notch.
Yeah, go check it out for yourself. Ignacio's not lying.
Check it out. No, I'm not. So
he's doing his movie shtick again from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
So for a couple of years, I see him go by me, flying by in his motorcycle, and I'm always on foot.
Is there a common thread throughout those days? Anything that you notice that's the same?
No, nothing. Completely random. No common thread, no common time, nothing. The thing that I noticed that's he's and he flies by on his motorcycle, and I see him, and okay, there's the ghost again. Bye bye, ghost.
And is it the
Years
same
go by. Yeah, same.
thing?
Oh, it's the same as if we was a cut and paste of that sequence. Same clothing, same length. The hair is the same length. The no glasses.
So maybe it's a glitch in the matrix.
Maybe so. Yeah, I mean, the fact that I'm not lying doesn't mean that this is truth. It's my perception of something. It can be anything. It doesn't mean this is real.
Right. So maybe he's zooming by and all of a sudden you hear fucking recycle. I don't think anybody has your sense of humor, AR, so let's keep it like that.
So a couple of years go by, I keep seeing him, and I got invited to a birthday of a friend that knew him and knew his ex-girlfriend. So when I go there, it was a barbecue. And when I go there, there's his ex-girlfriend.
Mm.
They split up before he died, so they weren't together when he died. So kind of like not wanting to bother her, but wanting to know how she was doing, and I don't know. I kind of focus on her and talking to her during the day, and she ends up, because I believe someone has told me this growing up. I have the face of a journal, a personal journal, that people tend to tell me their personal things easily.
Which
and
is
she ends up talking to me.
100% true.
Yeah, apparently. A friend of mine had the theory that it was pheromones, but you have never smelled me, so it's not the pheromones.
Only in my dreams, baby. Only in my dreams.
So I'm talking to her, and at some point we started talking about him and his brother, because Juan Pablo was older than me, and his brother was my same age, and he was
Ignacio, can we just take 1 minute? I want to just say hello to Billy from Economics and Comics. This guy has been killing the game. He's one of the very first people I've started watching when I first came back into comic book YouTube. Up until this day, up until yesterday, his video yesterday is something that I religiously watch, and he's the biggest channel I watch, and I appreciate everything he does. So hello to Billy. Keep doing what you do, Billy. I appreciate you. Sorry.
So I have the face of a priest. Maybe that's that. Maybe that's.
Maybe.
So we end up talking about Leo, Juan Pablo's brother, and she tells me this. She tells me, one day Leo called me and told me he needed to see me, like a year after Juan Pablo died, or months, I don't remember. And they got together, and Leo told her that she needed to dump the guy she was with, because Juan Pablo had told him, because he was talking with Juan Pablo every night after he died. His dead brother would visit him at night and talk to him about life, about whatever. And at some point, the ghost of his dead brother told him that this girl, that was his ex-girlfriend, the ghost's ex-girlfriend, should dump the dude she was with currently, because he was bad news. So basically, Leo told her that, and she dismissed it. She called him crazy and basically kicked him out of his house. Yeah, I mean, she felt as if this dude, he's the brother of his ex-boyfriend, was trying to manipulate her with the death of his brother. It was, I mean, we were young. We were 20 at most, basically teenagers with a little bit of independence. But we were stupid. We didn't know.
So yeah, I mean, you can for sure tell it now, Billy. If you want to come on, let me know.
Yeah, of course. There's an open door policy on this show,
Yeah, well,
so I don't have to talk about all by myself.
well, I wouldn't say open door, but I mean, it's open to most people.
Open hole.
Open holes, open holes.
So basically, she told me this. Uh, she kicked him out of his house, and she, of course, she didn't dump her boyfriend.
Mhm.
Long story short, the dude left her pregnant and disappeared. Well, she told me all of that. I didn't tell her that I saw Juan Pablo flying by in the motorcycle because there was no use for me to telling her that. The So she tells me that I go to the LCS that afternoon, and I remember that because I always took the bus in the same spot to go back to my house. And I leave the LCS, I took the bus, and I sit on the bus after seconds of jumping in, and the how do you call it? The red light is on, so the bus is not moving. And I sit there and I look down, and in the bus stop is Juan Pablo standing, looking beyond me, of course, waiting for the bus. But his head is all bandaged up, and the bus start moving, and I never saw him again. Never again. So there was nothing to do with me. I was just a witness to a story that I get to tell today. Oh, come on, I lost audio again.
No,
Why?
that one's my
Oh,
fault.
motherfucker.
That one's my fault. Aside from Homeboy, do you see anything else?
Yeah, I have a second story after that one.
Oh, Jesus, Maddie and Joseph.
Yeah, but this one is shorter because I knew what I had to do.
Okay.
So this one, I dreamt of an accident. I dreamt of a person, but I discarded because I don't remember my dreams. So I have a vague notion that I dreamt of a motorcycle accident.
Always with the motorcycle too.
Yes.
Or is it just because is it more prevalent for motorcycles in Argentina?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know.
I'm sorry.
So I went to work. I'm working there, and my brother calls me and tells me there's a message on the answering machine of your friend Noelia that she came back. She went home. She was from the south, and she went home on the summers, and when came back to the city to study in the university here during the year. But for the 3 months of summer, she went back to her place with their parents. But she had family here. She had cousins, aunts, and we were all friends. As a matter of fact, her cousin, Cecilia, was in the Boy Scouts also. There's another connecting point.
Listen, when you mentioned Boy Scouts, and there were a few comments earlier, especially here in America, there's that negative connotation.
Oh, here too.
There too? Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't have a negative experience. But maybe I gave someone a big negative experience at some point. I don't think so, but might be. So I dreamed this. I go to my place at my work. I work with my my aunt and my mom in insurance. So I basically did data entry, nothing more than that. My brother calls. Oh, nice.
You hear
My
me?
brother calls. Yeah, we hear
We
you.
can definitely hear you, sir.
Welcome.
All
Go
right, so
ahead.
yeah, Iggy's just wrapping up his story. We'll get to you, Billy.
No, I like listening.
Okay, thank you. It's the shorter one. So I get this phone call, this message that my brother relays to me. He tells me call home and enter. You can hear the message. Okay, I call home. I listen to her message, and she's crying, and she's telling me I came back early because of what happened to Cecilia. We are here. Basically, she told me her cousin was dead, and they were in the where you put the dead body in the coffin, and you have a wake. So I told my mom, I need to go here. I think this happened. And all the way there, I told my mom, I dreamt of her last night, and this happens. This is happening again. What happened with Juan Pablo? I told my mom, and my mom always open-minded, but not really. I don't think she really believes it. She told me maybe you have to do something. So I get there. I see all her family, her sister, her cousin Noelia, my friend, and basically they told me she was riding a motorcycle and a pickup truck basically run her over. She lost a leg, or it was gnarly. The casket was closed because she was, yeah. So I didn't tell her this. I didn't tell anyone this, but I was a friend of the family. I knew her sister, I knew her cousin, and I was very close with the dead girl's sister. Not with the dead girl per se. She was a little older than me, but the sister was my age, so we were closer. So after this, I started seeing her while I was walking, but basically out of the corner of your eye, as if someone is following you or about to go past you while you are walking. But I was looking over my shoulder and there's no one there, but I knew it was her. You know, there was a very clear, she was a beautiful girl, and there was a clear haircut that she had. And or maybe this is my mind working on me, you don't know, I don't know.
But not in a scary sense at all.
No, no one, never scary.
My hands are sweating, bro.
Yeah, my hands are sweating too. So I basically I a week passes by that I keep seeing her like around my house, in the streets, and I say, okay, I have to do something. So I go to her house to talk to her sister. They live together, and she's a wreck. She's a wreck. She hasn't been sleeping. She hasn't slept for a week. So I basically tell her, look, I have been seeing your sister for a while since she died. And we start talking, and she tells me, can you stay here the night so I can maybe sleep? Maybe if you are here, she will focus on you. Or, I mean, it went crazy. I mean, she hasn't been sleeping for a week, and I was seeing ghosts, so we're both crazy. So basically, I stay on the living room. She goes to her room. I mean, her brother was there, but her brother was older than us, and basically was in another wavelength. He was worried about his sister because she's not sleeping, but he's having to deal with all the arrangements of her dead sister because their parents were in Spain or something like that. I don't know, but their parents weren't there. So basically, I stay there. I sleep on the couch, and the other day she wakes up. We are having breakfast, and she tells me last night I slept. She came and she basically chucked me in, and I felt her putting her hand on my head, and I fell asleep. I mean, she that might be like hallucinatory. I don't know. She hasn't been sleeping for a while, but that's what I did, and I never saw her again. And
Wow.
that it ended. It lasted 1 week, not years like the previous one.
That's nuts. That's nuts. And there's nothing like you always see the movies. There's always something left unsaid or undone. That's why they reach out to mediums. And I mean,
Yeah.
we can all guarantee that's probably what you are. Um,
Never again. After that, I never had another experience.
okay. Well, you're old and cranky now, so maybe that's
Yeah,
something to do
maybe
with it.
that's it.
All right, Mr. Billy. Thank you for joining us. If you want to share your story, please.
Yes,
All ears.
yes, thank you. So I don't go on other people's shows. Okay,
No.
I don't. It's just a rule of thumb, right? So over the last couple of years, so I'm gonna just tell you my ghost story. That's the only reason I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So about 20 years ago, I was engaged. Okay, so I don't know how many of you can like relate to this, but in my life there's been a lot of women, and this time her name was Miriam. I haven't said her name in forever, but she was like my soulmate. Like there's if you've ever met your soulmate, you know. And I mean, now I'm in another relationship, and it's been forever, and we're basically married. But there's still that soulmate thing that is like missing. It's kind of hard to say. But about 20 years ago, and so we were engaged and all this, and she ended up passing away just out of the blue. She had some sort of heart thing that no one knew about.
Damn.
And so I was a wreck, right? Like I locked myself in the house, and I just didn't ever. It was months before I even like went out or anything, because it was devastating, right? And so I used to have, before that happened, I was golfed a lot. Like that was my, I golfed a lot. So I knew this pro golfer who was helping me with things like tuning me up,
Mhm.
And so he eventually called me, and he said, "Dude, you got to get out of the house." And I said, "All right." So it was like the first time I went out of the house, right? And we went out to the course, and I felt good. I was glad to be out and with someone that my friend. And I don't know if you guys golf, but I was on a par 3, and I chili dipped, right? A chili dip's when I topped it. So on the tee box, I hit the top of the ball, and it just went like 2 feet, right? and basically, not to get too far into it and go crazy, but I lifted my shoulders or whatever. I didn't look at the ball, and I hit the top. So I was walking up to the ball. It was like 2 feet away, and I had this really weird feeling, right? And the sky out here in Arizona, like there's either clouds or there isn't, right? So there was no clouds at all, except this one like super small one, dude, like really, really small. And I'm shit you not, there was a little rainbow shooting out of it, like not a full rainbow, but like a prism of light, right, that you could see coming out of it, really small. And I just had this really weird feeling. So I got back to the ball, and I just hit it, right, and it went in, right, like about 180 yards out.
So hole in one after that?
Well, I chili dipped on the tee box, so really it was the second shot, right? But you could consider, if I got a mulligan, which I didn't play that way, it would have been that. But there was this feeling, right? And the cloud was really weird, and it was just abnormal. And I looked at my buddy, and I said, "Dude, that was Miriam." I felt her presence, right?
Mm.
And all the sadness and all the pain that for months I had been dealing with alone, right? Like washed away instantly. And so, yeah, I didn't see her ghost, right? But the story gets even weirder. So I went home, right? And I felt better again. And I felt like it was time to reach out to her family, right? Even though I was there at the funeral and all that other stuff. But um
Did we lose you, Billy?
I don't know. Am I here?
Yep. We hear you.
And I didn't say anything about anything. And I said, "Hey, it's Billy." And she immediately said to me, "Did you see the little cloud with the rainbow coming out of
No.
it?"
No shit.
She's like, "That was Miriam." And I said, "Oh my God."
Dude.
Like she had reached out. Well, unless all of us were just tripping, right?
Yeah,
Some
of
sort of
course.
mass like thing. Her mom had the same experience. Well, I mean, she didn't hole in one or another, but had the same experience with this random cloud with a rainbow coming out of it in the middle of the sky, and had some sort of weird connection that her daughter was coming back to say it was okay, right? So that's my little weird ghost story.
Hey, it wasn't that sad, man.
Well, it's sad to me because even now it's still painful to think about
Yeah,
it,
of course, it's painful, but
but it
there's
was really
hope in that story. At least you told it. You told it in a very hopeful and positive way.
well,
So
yeah.
that's
I mean,
nice.
it definitely released me from my pain that I was dealing with. But
Wow. No, and first, thank you for sharing that, and
Yes.
that's incredible. That's and we've discussed on the show before, like fear of death, and I think generally the whole thing is the uncertainty there.
Mm-hmm.
And while it's a horrible situation to go through, because I've had that soulmate, definitely not passed away, but I can only imagine. I mean, for me, The Crow was based on that whole thing. Is James O'Barr
yeah,
losing his
Mm-hmm.
fiance at the time, so I can only imagine the pain that going through. But just to kind of feel that relief, to know maybe she's in a better place and that she's still looking over you is got to be soothing somewhat.
For sure.
But wow.
yeah. It's really weird, man. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I was a wreck. Like I used to draw too. Like I used to not well, right? I wasn't good, but one day I drew her like when she was alive, and it was an odd picture, but like you could see her soul in it, right? In a way, and she loved it, right? So we like put it over the kitchen stove or whatever like that, right? And I had all these pictures of her everywhere in my house. And during the time I was in pain, right? Like alone, I got so angry, right? I just
Yeah.
like destroyed the house. I threw away all the pictures, and the last thing was the picture of her over the stove. It was like she was haunting me, right?
Mm.
And because her eyes, somehow I captured her eyes, right? And I mean, this is sad to say, but I was in the wrong place, right, headwise, and I ended up tearing it up and getting rid of everything out of my house because everything reminded me of her. I mean, everything, dude. There was shit everywhere.
Yeah.
A coffee mug or things, just all types of shit that she lived with me. So it was like, I had to get rid of this stuff. And
You had to let her
now
go
what's really
somehow.
sad is that after that, right after I got rid of it, and then I had that experience, I went I went nuts, dude, for like
Mm.
2 days in my
Yeah.
house trying to find one picture of her. And I had so many, dude. And now, and well, it's sad, making me a little sad, but like, you know, they're all gone.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So like, there's just so much. It's just weird, man. I've had tons of weird experiences, like seeing the future and like telling people that are around me what exactly is going to happen because I dreamed it before, and then they trip out because I tell them exactly what's going to happen. And that was when I was younger, but like all these just weird experiences that just make me believe there's something else. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
I mean the coincidences are just too. I mean, to ignore that type of those signs, all different types of things is, that's just stupid. I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, there are coincidences until they happen to you.
Right.
At
Yeah,
least that's my point of view.
yeah.
So Bill, you mentioned also that you haven't had any of those since that situation.
With
I just,
her or other
I mean,
things
just
I've
in
seen?
general, yeah.
Are you talking about like other things that I've had experiences with, or are you
Yeah.
talking about just her?
Other things you've had experiences with.
Um. Well, to give you an idea of what I'm talking about experiences, what some people would call deja vu, I guess.
Mm.
When I was younger, I was a teenager, probably in high school. I used to get these dreams, and like they were like very vivid, and like I could tell there was a difference. I didn't really put two and two together until stuff started happening.
Mm.
But I had like three different dreams, right? And two of them came true. One of the dreams was that I was outside in the desert, right? Out here when you're younger, it was desert parties.
Mm.
So they would like drive out and have keggers out in the desert. And I had a dream that I got shot, right? Like I didn't get shot, but we were at this desert party and I had that what I would call deja vu feeling. And everything I started to see around me was exactly the same, right? Like I'm like, okay, this is happening right now. This is exactly what happened in my dream, because you don't forget the dream, that type of dream.
Mm.
So I got my best close friends together, and I was like, I told them all. They were laughing. We were all drunk. There's hundreds of people there. I'm like, I'm gonna get shot, or somebody's gonna get shot right now. This never happens out here, right? No, there's no shootings and stuff like that out here. I'm like, someone's gonna get shot, something bad's gonna happen. They're all laughing at me. And about 20 minutes later, my friend got shot 7 times, dude. And what's even scarier is, I mean, everyone's fleeing. It's dark. It's in the mountains. And he comes around this white Suburban, dude. He had a white shirt on. And his whole shirt, like by his chest area, was covered in blood, right? Like, I mean, like, when it would absorb the blood and turn the shirt red, so a big circle. And he put his hands out like, help me.
Whoa.
Like, come around the Suburban in the dark to me. Dude, scared the living shit out of me, dude. I froze. So anyway, long story short, he survived.
What?
And what's even trippier is the police went out there the next day. They found his hat, right? There was a bullet hole going directly through like the forehead part of the hat, all the way out the back. His clothes, I mean, he did get shot like 3 times and almost died, but like 4 of the other bullets like mysteriously like passed through parts of his body and his hat that didn't hit him, right?
Dude.
And so I went home. I told my parents, oh my God, that this. And then I went to the hospital a couple days later, and he's like, dude, it was so trippy, because he looked at me and he's like, dude, you were right. And I was like, oh fuck, just tripping me out,
Yeah, I didn't want to be right, man.
Yeah. And then I had multiple other dreams that when you're in the dream, it's one of those things that'll happen later. Like I knew how to like which one was going to be real, right?
Yeah.
I had another dream. I was at another party, right? And it's so stupid. We went outside. We went from the backyard to the front yard. We got in a car, and we just all sitting in the car. and this weird car came up and was like doing 180s and like going back and forth down the street. It's just something simple, right? So I'm at this party with my friends again after the other incident, and I said, "Oh my God, you guys, it's happening again! It's happening again. I'm gonna tell you exactly. Just trust me, please follow me." And of course we're all drunk and stoned and all this shit back then.
Of course.
And they're like, "All right, this guy's fucking crazy." So I'm like, "Dude, we're gonna go outside into this car. And we're just gonna sit there and wait. And there's gonna be a car that's gonna come by and do all this crazy shit. And you're gonna laugh at me the whole time this is happening. And then when it happens, you aren't gonna laugh anymore, right?" So we're sitting there, and they're like, "Let's go back in. There's girls and shit." And I'm like, "Dude, just hang on a sec." And it happened, right? Exactly how I said. And I know it's just basic, right? But the fact that I was able to like detail it all,
yeah,
was really weird.
Right, to know that it's coming right then and there. I mean,
now the scary part is the third dream hasn't happened yet.
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
And I hope it never happens. I'm not some sort of sightseer, and I'm not trying to tell weird, scary ghost stories or anything. But I had my last dream was. They all seem to be outside at night, right? There was this light, right, behind the moon. And it looked like the moon was on fire. Like the ring around the moon, like fire was coming around the side of the moon, like an eclipse of some sort.
Okay.
Okay, from behind the moon, right?
Yeah.
And we're all looking up, and I was with my family too. And I'm like, "What is that? The moon looks weird." And everyone's looking at it, and it fucking exploded, bro, from behind. Okay. I got my Marvel Comics deliveries here, but it exploded from behind. It got hit by something so big that it blew up from the other, like the dark side, which we never so-called see or whatever.
Yes.
And all I remember is pieces of the moon, like on fire, falling towards Earth. That's the last dream I ever had. I had that feeling in the dream that it could come true, but that was so long ago. Now, I will attribute it to one thing, and I've tried to think about this forever. Like the ability to see stuff in your dreams, right? And it come true.
Yes.
There's one thing, key ingredient here, but before I tell you that, before I leave, thanks for having me. I haven't been on a show in a long time.
Thanks for coming, man.
I just wanted to talk about, this stuff because I love this shit. But one thing I know for sure, for all my experiences in life, right, is that I feel like we do this life over and over and over. It's just this feeling I have, right? Like, maybe we go to another dimension, multiversal, whatever bullshit, and we live again. And we live like maybe until we get it all right. When we make all the right decisions is when we pass. I don't know, right? But there's so many times where we've all probably been there. I've been here before, or I know that person, or when you have a connection with someone so close and you can't explain it, you don't even know them. Those type of weird things. Like you've been here before, but the one thing I think that helped me, and I've always wanted to do it again, but I won't, is help me think that the dreams, the whole dream thing, was back then. I was experimenting with LSD and stuff. Like back then in high school, there was a big in the late '80s to early '90s. LSD had like come back kind of. And so we, all us kids were doing it, right? So
tune in, turn on, tune in, and cop out.
Huh?
There's a saying that's turn on, tune in, and cop out. There's it's a writer, a philosopher, I think, that talked about using LSD to tune into the waves of the universe, to explain
Yeah,
your
well, you have
mind.
Nostradamus too, was supposedly messing with that stuff like mescaline, and apparently Nostradamus had like this. He would get all messed up on some sort of like hallucinogenic drug, right? And so, and now that a lot of people are doing that other MDMA or
Ayahuasca.
Yeah,
ayahuasca, and all that, it's
DMT.
very similar, right? So, and they're connecting with things and seeing things, and you're hearing story of dreams coming true and all this, and so that's the only thing I could really maybe connect it to. That maybe some of that stuff affected me in a way for a point until I stopped doing it, where it
For
kind of
sure.
opened up kind of a sight type of thing in the future. But you guys, not to leave like this, but they just delivered my Penguin order for Marvel Comics, so I
Hey,
gotta get it.
Billy,
And
thank
Thanks
you.
for
Thank you so much for
the
hopping
great story
on. Yeah,
delivery.
everything that you do, appreciate you, sir. Thanks for coming on. And
yeah, I'll leave you guys on to listen to more stories if you have them, hopefully.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you
And
very much, Billy.
yeah,
All right,
doors always open, Billy. Thank you. Appreciate it.
see you guys later.
Bye.
See ya.
Well, I can say there's one thing that I hope Billy's right. I hope we do this over and over until we get it right, because I sure would like to try again.
Well,
The whole
maybe you can.
moon exploding thing.
I hope that's
I can
maybe
pass on
he's.
that. I can pass on that for a while.
Yeah, well, we can only hope that we can choose which future is the correct one.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I hope you have a pleasant night tonight, Nick.
It's the stuff like this. It doesn't shock me. Like I'm saying earlier, it's Billy doesn't seem to do things to me for attention. He doesn't do things. He does things because he says things because he believes they're true, and that to me, that guy has no reason to lie about what he said. So when I see that, I can, especially the whole cloud story. I felt something wash over me. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god. Yeah. But I don't remember my dream.
Some people in the chat feeling the same.
Yeah. I don't discount it. I don't know. How do we end it?
Next episode, space racism. Be here or be square.
You know what? Let's hold on before we do that. Let's. And I feel bad that we never get to TM's question, but here is TMNerdy's question of the week.
Hey everyone, TM from TMNerdy here. You guys are watching Two Nerd Dads with Nick and Nacho. We're going to hold you guys up for just 1 second because I got a question for all you fine folks out there in YouTube world. If you can do anything for an entire day, what would it be? And why? Fill your holes with that nerd question. Back to you, Nick and Nacho.
Bro, I may need next week off.
Okay. We can talk about it backstage. But I'm 100% on your side, so don't worry.
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to listen to. It's a lot to process, and it brings hope, I guess. Sometimes, especially when you hear relief. All good
there's
things.
Something. I don't know. I think there's something, but we cannot understand it. We don't have the capacity to understand it. Maybe experience glimpses of it, but that's it. To Travis' questions of this week's question, what I would do for a whole 24 hours is sleeping because I need it very much. And to answer his last week's question, which was what would you like to turn into a 30-minute TV episode series, basically? I have an idea for a story that involves it's basically a dystopian future, near future, and in this dystopian near future, it's progressively starting to become more controlled people by the state and the institutions, and at some point there's a a wave of suicides that are basically live streamed. Keep that in mind. Keep in mind that I have this idea since 2011. Live streaming wasn't a thing then.
When we run out of topics, that's what we'll start to do.
So basically, it's basically a revolution, but it started by people committing suicide, like prominent people. The first person that commits suicide is a philosopher in front of his students.
Oof.
And then it grows from there, but it's all self-inflicted. There's no murder, there's no terrorism, until it gets to a point in which it all breaks loose, and there's massive hysteria and attacks. And I think it could be a good idea to become serialized in series format.
Yeah,
But I probably someday will turn it into a comic.
I would like to see that, actually. I would like to see it. I can honestly say, to Travis's question, here it is. This is the show I would do. With a friend, watched by friends, sharing with friends. It's all, yeah, here it is. I'm living my dream.
Nick one.
That, or maybe I would do a reality show where I'm the eligible bachelor and all of my favorite women throughout history show up and they get to woo me for 15 years straight. That's my show.
And it would last 24 hours, only once.
It could last 24 hours, sure. I'd take it.
Okay.
I'd stay awake. I'd stay awake for all the women I've ever wanted. But
Would it be triple X?
anytime, sir. It depends
Thanks
on
for
the
coming,
network.
Billy.
It depends on the network I'm on, but yeah, sure. I mean, I can do it. I can do it.
Very good. Let's hope for that then.
All right. Anything else? What do you think?
I know. I think we should leave.
I'm feeling it. I think out of all the things we've discussed, this one was not tough, not draining. It was a lot. It was a lot, in a good way. In a good way. I like to hear.
I'm
stuff
glad.
like that. I like to have I like to know there's a place where we can, members of the community can come here and talk about stuff. So I think more importantly, no topics off the table, no feelings are off the table. I mean, if you guys want to come and talk, yeah, definitely for sure. And comic books.
And comics book, of course.
Yeah.
That thing.
Yeah. I appreciate
So-
each and every one of you guys for coming out. Anything else, Ignacio? No, that's about it, right?
If you want to join us, you can contact us on Instagram or Twitter in my case. And even if you want to propose a subject, bring
For
it
sure.
in.
Nothing is taboo. And I mean, let's be realistic about that statement, people, okay? Before you start submitting your ideas.
Yeah, and commit to it. If you are willing to speak about it, don't make a joke. Let's talk about it.
We're very
That's Remy's show. Sorry.
yeah, we're very serious on this channel.
Of course. We don't laugh when we fuck.
See you guys later.
Fuck, you guys already saw it? Let me see it. Oh! Shit! Oh! Y'all see that?
So, Tyler, do you want to build a snowman to plow away all night? It doesn't have to be a snowman. It can be me.
I'll be clipping that too.